Hello, everybody. This is John Paval with Access Arts Live, here to give you a heads up on a live stream which will be happening tomorrow, Sunday, November 23rd. I always like to do that for those live streams which really seem to stand out. And boy, does this one ever do so. Sunday, November 23rd, Benjamin Zander conducts the Verdi Requiem with the Boston Philharmonic, the Pro Musica Chorus, and soloist Aylin Perez, Daniela Mack, John Osborne, and Maharam Husseinov. That'll be at 3 in the afternoon tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, noon on the West Coast, and 9 o'clock in the evening here in Europe. A perfect time for enjoying a Verdi Requiem by a top orchestra. And they brought in a raft of top opera singers to sing the main roles, which is, since I usually do a separate workup for operas with the four main singers, I said, well, let's do a workup for this Verdi Requiem because I've got four opera singers on board for it. Benjamin Zander, in case you're not familiar with him in the Boston Philharmonic, Zander founded the Boston Philharmonic in 1979 and has been with them ever since. They speak of him with great love. He's like, the father of the organization. I don't know what Boston did for orchestral works before Benjamin Zander came along and invented the Boston Phil, but maybe you do. And if you do, leave an explanation in the comments section if you're a Bostonite and you know what they did before. He also has a TED Talk out there, which has been listened to and enjoyed by millions of people. So he's acquired a stature of more than just a conductor. He's sort of a wise man of on the American East Coast. The Pro Musica Chorus is a fairly large scale chorus. They have 100 members, over 100 members altogether, but some of those are instrumentalists, are musicians. It was founded in 1949, so it's been around for a long time, 30 years longer than the Boston Phil, and they must be doing something right. So let me tell you then about the different singers that have been brought on board to do this. It's a very international cast. The soprano, and I have that photo up there that you can consult, although if you're watching on TikTok, you don't get the photo. Okay. Aylin Perez is the soprano in this performance. She's of Mexican background, Mexican American. The New York Times describes her as a beautiful woman who commands the stage and a major soprano. She sang this mass with the Philadelphia Orchestra just a couple months ago in August under Yannick Nézet-Séguin at a summer festival. She'll be singing it again later this year at the Sala Santa Cecilia in Rome. Getting back to the New York Times again, the way they describe her rendition of the soprano part in this Requiem is, quote unquote, angelic and fiery. So figure that out. Anyway, and what's she doing otherwise? Well, she'll be reprising the lead role in La Boheme at the New York Met, and in a new production of La Boheme by Melanie Bacalling at the Lyric Opera Chicago later in the spring. She'll be the lead role in Madame Butterfly at the Grand Théâtre des Lycées, the title role in Tosca as the Berlin State Opera, Nedda and Leon Cavallo's Pagliacci with the Bavarian State Opera. Top of the line soprano. It's hard to do much better than that. Now, the mezzo soprano, which is a very top role in this particular Requiem, is Argentine. It's Daniela Mack, and she's been singing the role of Garcia Lorca with the Metropolitan Opera and the LA Opera in the new production of Ein Adamar. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I am not an opera expert, folks, or a language expert. I'm just making sure you know about it. She also appeared last year with the Lyric Opera of Chicago as Angela in Missy Mazzoli's The Listeners, and as Idamonte in Idomeneo as staged by the San Francisco Opera. She's sung with the New York Phil, the Boston Symphony before, the Chicago Symphony, the Los Angeles Phil. As far as I can tell, she's sung the Mozart Requiem, but I cannot find that she has sung the Verdi Requiem before. Now, I can't say the same thing about John Osborne, the tenor, because he has sung this before. But first, he just finished up singing Gounod's Faust with the Vienna State Opera this month. But I don't think that was live streamed. They do a lot of live streaming there, but not this one. And after that, he's going to be on to singing Cellini and Berlioz's Benvenuto Cellini at La Monnaie in Brussels. So he originally came from Des Moines, so he's a real, hard-boiled American, but he became a specialist in the French operatic repertoire, and that's why you see him doing things like Gounod's Faust and Berlioz's Cellini. So the German magazine Opera World, Opernwelt, named him the Singer of the Year in 2024 for some work he did at the Opera Frankfurt and several other productions in Rome and Madrid. He sang the Verdi Requiem with under Riccardo Muti with the Chicago Symphony last June. And Classical Chicago had this to say about him: with his febrile, high voice, Osborne proved well suited to the Requiem and floated a graceful solo line in the Ingemisco. Ingemisco tantan, etc., etc. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself because I used to work on that one. Anyway, and then the Classical Chicago goes on to say this: Maharam Husseinov, who was a late substitution in that production, anchored the low end with a focused and authoritative bass baritone. Well, why does that matter? Well, because Maharam Husseinov is the bass in this performance. And he also did this, performed that same part in the Verdi Requiem at Teatro Real in 2022. And a year ago, he did it with the Philadelphia Orchestra with Riccardo Muti conducting. Well, it's like a signature piece for Riccardo Muti. He's originally from Baku in Azerbaijan, but he finished up his opera training at La Scala in Europe, and then was taken on as a regular at the Mariinsky Theater, which is, if you don't know Russian opera, it's right up there with the Bolshoi. And he's been building a repertoire there as like a guest soloist, but a regular guest soloist. So to me, this looks like a really fine cast. If you know the Verdi Requiem, it's a very, very powerful Requiem. Some people would say it's the most powerful. And although the Ingemisco part is just very sweet and lovely for a tenor to sing. But anyway, so that's really all I have to offer you to tell you about it, but I commend it to you. It's free of charge. Once again, it's Sunday, tomorrow, November 23rd, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Boston, noontime in Los Angeles, and 9 o'clock in the evening all over Europe. Let me just remind you before I say anything else, before I go, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. And if you see this on any of our other platforms, we're thrilled that so many people like our videos, but that's not what we want you to do. We want you to follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, Facebook, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn. We're everywhere we think you may be to make it easy for you to get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online every year. We did it in our first year. We're doing it again in our second year, and we'll keep doing it. But it would help the algorithm if you'd follow and or subscribe to us too. So do yourself a favor, do us a favor. Ciao for now.